What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unscripted here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Joining me here today to talk about the first round of the 2024 NBA Draft, talking about some highlights of it. My guy, my right-hand man, Mr. Jay McLovin. Jay, what's going on, brother?
Oh, man. It's going well, honestly. It's going well, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this draft recap. I mean, as you know, man, once you get past 10, it really starts to fade in terms of talent-wise. So I know me and you had talked about we were going to just do the first 10. So I'm looking forward to talking about these 10 and what we can, I think, expect from them.
Yeah, and obviously this draft was not really hyped up much at all. A lot of people are saying this is one of the worst draft classes in recent memory, but that's just on paper. We have not seen these guys play in the league as of yet, so who knows? That's up to their fate. That's up to their performance to see how they're going to perform, and ultimately in a couple of years, we'll look back and see how this draft class did as a unit. But before we talk about it, if you enjoy this episode, everyone, please be sure to go like, follow, share, and subscribe on our following social media accounts here: Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, also over on LinkedIn. And if you guys are feeling a little bit down in the dumps, if you're feeling like you're just not up to your performance, feeling a little sluggish today, well, we have the perfect product for you. You go over to w.gg to get yourself some tremendous tasting, some high quality energy blend drinks right there. Not going to give you any jitters. It's not going to have you going bouncing off the walls. It's just going to give you that nice kick to get you through your day at affordable prices. And like we said, you can get even more off with our promo code ESEN. Use the link in the description to go over there and get you some nice products and get you some shakers, some drinks. You can also go and get some merchandise. They have t-shirts as well. So anything you really want, it's over there at w.gg. And be sure to use promo code ESEN. Well, let's get into it, Jay. Some of the highlights, NBA draft, first round, number one overall pick. The Atlanta Hawks, hometown team for me. They drafted, wish me luck here, they drafted Zachary Riachier. Are we going to be able to learn his name, kind of like we had to learn Giannis? Is this going to be one of those guys? What do you think?
This is going to be shortened to Zach. It's just going to be
Zach. That'll work.
Zach play? Yeah, I saw him.
That's Zach.
That was amazing. Whatever. It's going to be named Zach. I guarantee you. You watch. Nobody's going to be able to say that last name. The first name they'll get through. That last name.
He'll be. Oh, look at number 27 down at the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how you say. Is it Reese's share or Rice share?
Yeah, I think we're right along there. We'll learn it eventually.
Yeah, we're just gonna stay with Zach.
We'll go with Zach for now.
Jeez,
What you like about him?
Yeah, I think he was a projected number one guy, not only in his class but also overall. So, and in recent mock drafts, they had Zach. Every one of them had Zach going number one. So it does not surprise me that Zach did, in fact, go number one. He's a good guy, man. I mean, Atlanta's going to get a lot out of him as they continue to build this team. He's a versatile wing. He can shoot. He can shoot off the move. He's a good perimeter defender. He does lack ideal length and strength. I mean, the guy is not a very big guy at all. I think he's like 6'7", and I think maybe a couple 100 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. But he can. I think what the Hawks are looking for from him, Logan, more so is that he can space the floor and defend the perimeter. I think that's really the big takeaway on Zach.
Yeah, when I was looking at him, looking at some of his just game film, reading over, what he's about. He's young, right? He's only 19, so he's got a lot of time to grow and develop. He's 19, comes in around 6'9", 215. But like I said, he's lanky as opposed to just super, super skinny. He's not like Chet Holmgren, who's I think like 7 foot, but maybe the same weight. But like you said, this guy is definitely more of a shooter than anything. 39% from threes. Which you'd like to see. Also 46% from the floor. That'll get it done. That's what made him a number one overall pick. Good at rebounding as well. He's not going to, probably lead the league or anything, but there'll probably be some nights to where he could get to the glass more often than not, just depending on where he's at on the floor. One thing that he can improve on, but like I said, he's a forward. He doesn't need a whole lot of this per se, but he could always improve on some playmaking, getting more assists out there. But like I said, that's not his. That's not what you look at and why he was drafted number one overall. You look at him because he's a good shooter. And that's what the Hawks need. They need a good shooter. I'm sure he'll put on a little bit of weight. You don't need to add on a whole lot. Like I said, get him around 230 or so, 240. Just beef him up a little bit, and he'll be all right, just so he doesn't get beat up everywhere as a forward. But like I said, this was not the greatest draft class. I think a lot of these guys, for the most part, you're gonna have to see how they're gonna come over. But also, too, Jay, back-to-back years now that we've had international prospects, both from France.
Yeah,
1 overall pick. That's pretty odd to say.
I mean, France has a good team over there, and in all honesty, Logan, if you look at this whole draft, it's just littered with 18-year-olds.
Yeah, a lot of young guys.
Most of these,
not a lot of them went to college. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at most of this top 10, they're 18-year-olds that are skinny as shit and lanky. And then the few point guards that were taken are small as hell, and not lanky.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, I was going to say, let's just keep it moving. The number 2 overall, a lot of people thought this guy could have maybe went number 1, but he didn't even meet with the Hawks, so I knew that wasn't going to be the case. Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr, 7 foot, 224, another forward, also out of France. He played in Perth out there in Australia, so some more international talent. What do you think about him, man? I mean, he's a young kid also. Like I say, he's born in 05, so another young player.
Oh, Lord, I got underwear that wouldn't know. No, the guy's 7 foot at 224, but what really makes him stand out for the Washington Wizards is the fact that he has a 9 foot 2 inch standing reach.
Mm-hmm.
For this guy with his wings up in the air, he's damn near touching the rim. I mean, literally. He's mobile, he's quick, he's explosive, but he's also skinny. He can protect the rim, but not against a guy that's in his mid 200s that's going to get physical. Let's just be honest. But like I said, when you look at the kids that are coming out today, he almost fits the mold of the prototypical new power forward and or small forward centers and stuff out there. I mean, it's no longer the big, round mound of rebound or Shaq Diesel or whatever. Now you got, Stickman versus Gumby or something,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really kind of crazy, but when you look at him, the weakness of Alex Sarr is his toughness and feel for the game. That's not something I want to hear from my rim protector, that he needs to find toughness. He will be able to impact the interior defenders a little bit, but long-term development is really where this guy's at. He's a project. He has a lot of upside, which is the reason why he's getting drafted at number 2, but also he's getting drafted at number 2, like you said earlier, this is a weak draft class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing, too, that Alex is going to have to improve on is his shooting, more so from the three-point line. He shot 16 of 58 from the three-point line for only 28%. Like I said, he shot 71% as well from the free throw line, so got to improve his shooting touch a little bit. But like I said, he's a big guy. He's going to be a good defender, I think. He's going to be probably lethal in pick and rolls. Just because his length is already up there with some of the big guys already. So, like I say, still got some room for improvement, but overall, he was expected to go top 3 for sure. All right, your team now. The Rockets, they went with Reed Shepherd out of Kentucky. What do you like about him and what he's going to bring to your team?
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, he was the number 1 point guard taken in terms of rankings. He was 4th overall taken, Logan. So when you figure we're getting the number 1 point guard in his spot, but the 4th overall at the number 3
third,
I mean, it's not bad. The dude's like 6'2". They got him listed as a shooting guard. I can't see that. I think he winds up doing point guard or something like that. He's out of Kentucky. What I like about the guy is his shooting ability. The guy is a 3-point specialist. And the Rockets, if you're going to contend with the Boston Celtics of the world that are all about the 3-point shooting and defense, you're going to need somebody like this Reed Shepherd. He doesn't have to play all the greatest defense. He just has to shoot the ball from that 3-point line without any issues. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Like I said, his wingspan limits him as a finisher in traffic. So don't look for this guy to like, attack the rim or something like that. He's just not big enough to do that. And he's not going to be good on one-to-one defenders because he's only 6'2", and he's got short arms. So this guy said those are going to be some, unfortunately, things that he can't overcome. That's just physically, that just is the way it is. What I do like about him, outside of his shooting ability, is the fact that he's unselfish. He to almost to a fault, Logan. As a matter of fact, that was one of the knocks against him. One of the knocks against him was his usage rate. But it's just because he dishes more than, and he looks to make plays more than he does to shoot the rock himself. So I think he still needs to keep that unselfish play about him, because I think, one of the things that you need in your guards is to be able to distribute the ball and find the open man when the shot's not there. So that is really, really good that he's unselfish like that. He just needs to shoot the ball more. I would like to see him shoot the rock more. There's not really else he can do about the defense side of it. I mean, it's 6'2", it just is what it is with short arms. But if he can be an offensive firepower or get guys in position to make them better on the offensive side, I think that's where it's going to be beneficial, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, he was he was hyped in high school, won Mr. Basketball in his senior year. Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of high school, won the Freshman of the Year in the SEC, shot 52% from three, and he also made 7 threes in a game twice this past year. So, good shooter, right? I mean, that's what you're expecting him to do. Like I said, he's coming in 6'2", 182, so not expecting to be a lockdown defender, but if he can keep that shooting touch around, then I think that things will be all right for y'all out there.
I will say one thing, though. With this pick from the Rockets, I don't think he stays with the team. I think they picked him. I would not be surprised if he gets packaged for a bigger superstar type player. So
okay, we'll see.
I don't think this is over with Reed yet in the Houston Rockets. So we'll keep our eye on that. But I think there's more to come, and especially with Kevin Durant, keep that name in the back of your mind. Even though I hate hearing that name, there are rumors that are being speculated about that. So I think this is still not over yet.
We'll see. All right, number 4 overall, San Antonio Spurs got Stephon Castle, 6'6" guard coming out of Connecticut by way of Covington, Georgia. So he made top 5. What do you think about him? What do you think about how he's going to perform with the Spurs this upcoming year?
Yeah, so he's 6'6", 210, point guard.
Yep.
Jeez. Tall freaking point guards.
I was say we're getting some length now.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, we're no longer. I mean, he's got basically shooting guard, maybe even small forward type.
Yeah, a wing player. Yeah.
I mean, Jordan was 6'6". So that just kind of gives you an idea. He's a pretty good sized guy for a point guard. We don't see him typically. They're usually about 6'4", 6'5", maybe 6'3", somewhere around there. So for that reason, he is the number 2 ranked point guard, and he is number 6 overall in this draft. He had good size and length, like we talked about. He's versatile on both ends of the floor. But what hurts him, and I think the reason why the Rockets didn't pick him, was because he shoots the rock at the arc at 27%. And that just was not going to work for the Rockets. They got plenty of non-3-point shooter people. I think that's the reason why they took who they took where they took. His mechanics need more work. He still needs to work on continuously developing his shot. Clearly, at 27% at the arc, that's a very, which is really weird. Why the Spurs took him here at number 4. I don't know what he's really going to do to really help this team. So for me, this is kind of they like his defense and playmaking upside. That's what the Spurs have said about it. I just don't get it. I don't. Maybe Popovich can work his magic here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like the potential, but overall, I don't know if this guy would go number 4 in recent years drafts.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of teams in high school and whatnot, and in college, they kind of sagged off of him because, like you said, he isn't the greatest 3-point shooter, shooting at just above a 25% clip. So 1 in 4 shot, he's gonna miss it. So that's something he's definitely got to improve on if he wants to be a threat, especially this day and age. But I think they drafted him more so because, like I said, he's a tall guard wing combo. He seems very versatile. Good defender. That's something obviously that Popovich loves, I'm sure. and they're just kind of hoping they can develop a shot for him in the near future. All right, number 5, the Detroit Pistons. May God have mercy on that team's soul. They wish they went with a forward 6'7", 197.
Yeah.
Ron Holland II, coming out of, like we've been seeing last couple of years, the G League. So a guy who's had a different path, but he is now a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. What do you like about this move? What do you like about this guy? He's coming out of Duncanville, Texas, so he's near you.
Yeah, I like absolutely nothing about him. So I don't like this guy. And of course he is from my state of Texas. But look, man, you're 6'7" and you don't even weigh 200 pounds. Logan, that's so skinny that you could literally take your hands and go just like this, and you'd be touching his back and his chest simultaneously. Like literally, there's nothing to him. He makes Manu Bowl look fat, for crying out loud. So I'm not really all into this. You know, the word on him is that he's physical, he's aggressive, he's a versatile wing. But Jesus, man, you bring on this guy the wrong way, and he's probably sitting 4 rows back. You know, so I don't know, man. He doesn't have good decision making. That's a knock on him. Yeah. He's a streaky shooter. That's a knock on him. I think a lot of people were extremely surprised that the Pistons, took this, and they figure it's a major swing on Detroit's part. They must have saw something in him that they felt like they had to have. For the love of God, I can't think about what that is. At one point, he was considered number 1 until last season in the G League when he had an inconsistent season. And when you're inconsistent and you're skinny as hell, bro, that's not a good combination.
Yeah, what the thing about Holland is he only played in 14 games for the G League before he had to get surgery done. He suffered a tendon rupture in his right thumb. But before that, he shot 20. He averaged around 20 points and 6 rebounds with 3 assists. So he was doing well. But like you said, this guy is a definite shooter. He is going to shoot this ball whenever he gets a chance. But like you said, his percentages aren't great. He's got a good jump shot. It looks pretty, but he's not a natural guard per se. That's why they kind of stick him around the forward spot. He's going to be kind of a combo. Yeah, definitely needs. And defensively, just still needs to work on that as well. But I think that he might be more so a defensive guy than an offensive guy when all is said and done. I can definitely kind of see that. But yeah, not super in love with that pick. Speaking of a team who God needs everything, the Charlotte Hornets. Give me just a moment here to see if I can figure out how to do my best here. Number 6 overall, the Charlotte Hornets selected Tidjane Salon, 6'9", 207, coming out of France. Jay, what do you like about what do you want to call him? TS? What do you like about this guy?
I'm gonna call him Saloon. So Mr. Saloon over here.
Close enough.
No, we can call him TS. I don't care.
Okay. Whatever you want to go with.
Hey, look, in about 30 minutes when this show's over with, we're not even going to care about him anymore. And that's just a fact of the matter. I hate to say that, but, I will say this. He's 6'9", he's 217. He's got a little bit more beef than the last guy did, but it ain't a whole hell of a lot. I mean, you're talking about almost 7 feet and 217. Hell, I weigh 202 right now, and I'm 5'9", and I look like a normal person. So that just kind of tells you at 6'9" what 217 probably looks like. Again, he's a power forward, like you said. He's ranked number 5 in this position. He's ranked number 9 overall. So, Charlotte did, I guess, get a halfway decent guy. But again, he is physically gifted. He does have length. He does have frame. He does have versatility. He just needs a little bit more weight put on his butt. Mm-hmm. He's a good shooter. He's a decent shooter. He's good on defense, but his weaknesses are his ball handling. Logan, he has no handles. This guy needs handles. This guy needs to go to Kyrie Irving's How to Get Handles workshop and spend half of his paycheck there and develop some freaking handles. That's the downside of this guy, So he needs to work on that. I don't know, man. I think with this pick, I think they should have traded out of it, or they should have taken Klingon, which we'll talk about him on the next day. But I really think that they got that Donovan Klingon out of UConn would have been the better selection for them versus this Saloon kid.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the height and stuff's there. Obviously, he's a bigger guy, 6'9". But the one stat I saw that he had last year that I just can't get out of my head that is not good. And granted, he is listed as a forward, but it's like what you said, Jay. He does not have ball handling skills. 44 assists last year compared to 64 turnovers. That ain't gonna fly in today's league, brother. That ain't gonna work. Gotta fix that. All right, number 7. Let's keep it going. The Portland Trail Blazers got Donovan Klingon, like you mentioned, out of Connecticut. I always think about this guy. I thought this was a good pickup for Portland.
No, I think this was a steal in the draft. It's a weak draft, but I think it's a steal in the draft. He was ranked number 1 in this position, number 3 overall. I think if Atlanta Hawks, who was ever at number 1, would have needed a center at that spot, then I think Donovan probably would have gone number 1 in this draft. But the first drafts that were ahead of him, they were obviously clearly drafting purely on team need and not necessarily the best person in the draft.
Right.
This guy he's like a white version of Shaq. He's 7'2". He's 280. I mean, this guy's almost 300 pounds, Logan. At 7
big guy.
And he's just getting out of college. So this dude's got Shaq-like weight to him. I mean, this is the first guy I've seen where I actually feel excited about. Like, this dude's got some beef on him. I ain't seen this kind of guy, like I said, since Shaq, and even back in the 80s and early 90s type of basketball, even late 70s, mid to late 70s, this kind of size. So he is great a rim protector. He's got a 7'7" wingspan. He's got good timing and instincts. But what he does need to work on is his scoring. He definitely look at this is where I'm making the Shaq comparison. Number 1 is his size. Number 2, he struggles to make free throws. Yeah. Who else struggles to make free throws? Shaq. But when you're 282 pounds going to the rim, who's going to stop you? Number 1, you're probably going to get the foul. Number 2, you're probably going to face plant somebody in the dirt. But
so yeah.
But yeah, so the struggle that he has is free throws, and he lacks explosiveness and traffic. And I'm assuming that's probably just because of his size. I mean, sometimes it might be a little hard when you got guys around you. But this is something that I think this is still in the draft.
Yeah, the thing about him is, like you said, he's free throw percentage not hot at all, in the 50s. If you're in the 50s, it ain't good. Also, too, this guy is going to be like a Rudy Gobert 2.0 because he can't make an outside shot to save his life. Yeah. Basically, if he's not around the rim, it ain't going to be doing much offensively. Defensively, though, he doesn't have a giant vertical. But if he can meet you there, if he can time it right, he can get you. He can get some blocks. He can get some rebounds. But I thought overall this was a good pick for Portland. I think obviously they need a lot. And I thought this was a step in the right direction for them. So congrats to them.
I am curious to see how he fits in, though, with Robert Williams III and DeAndre Ayton.
Someone's going to be seeing less time.
Yeah. It's going to
be this guy.
How they use. Could you imagine a 7'2", 282-pound Klingon, and you got DeAndre Ayton on the floor at the same time? I mean, bro, talk about clogging up the paint, right?
Yeah, good luck with that. All right, next up, we had a trade, actually. So the Spurs initially drafted Rob Dillingham, but he was then traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves' latest selection here, we're looking at Rob Dillingham, 8th overall pick, a guard, 6'1", 164 by way of Kentucky. What'd you like about him, Jay?
Guard, he's a fly.
Yeah.
A 6'1", Logan. Just think about this.
164.
6'1", 164 pounds. This is like a small version of Manute Bol, right? Small and super skinny. Like this dude, if you bump into him, Logan, he's gonna be on the ground with these guys. I don't like this. I don't know why anybody in their right minds would trade 2 first-rounders, 1 a swap pick, The other one, an unprotected pick. I mean, why would you give that up for a guy who's 6'1", 164 freaking pounds? I understand they're going to say, well, he's a dynamic scoring guard in the draft. Well, shit, I hope so, because, I mean, he ain't got nothing else. I mean, he ain't guarding nobody at 6'1", 164. Shifty, good ball handling, passing. Those are some of the characteristics that's been described to him. But obviously on the weakness side, lack of size, physicalness. He's unable. He will be unable to absorb contact in the lane. I mean, could you imagine somebody going against this kid in the lane? They put him in the third row.
Yeah.
Logan, I got to be honest with you. I think in this whole damn draft, this Spurs thing,
Timberwolves pick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the worst thing I've seen by Minnesota to date. They're going to pair him, they said, with Anthony Edwards in the back, but you know what? Fuck that shit. It's another wasted pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, when I see, this guy, obviously he needs a couple pounds, at least 20, get him up to 180. But Jay, he was a bench player. He wasn't a starter. He went top 10.
I don't know how a bench player goes top 10.
Granted,
you know what? Hey, let me just say this. I love Popovich. Popovich needs to stay in the damn league. He's still making great trades.
I mean, he's still getting it done. They said, hey, you guys want this guy in Minnesota? Sure.
Bro, I would imagine in the next, if the Spurs keep developing and the manner in which they're developing, I think this Spurs team is going to be back in title contention. And I think it's going to be a lot sooner than you think. And I think Pop's going to make another run at some championships.
I'm going to tell you, we know that, we talked about Stephon Castle earlier, who they drafted, who has some good games. So we'll see. But yeah, Rob, get some weight on you, brother. Keep shooting threes. He can shoot threes pretty solid. So we'll see if that can translate. But yeah, obviously he's got some speed. He better have some speed, being probably the skinniest player in the draft. So yeah, get some weight. And, keep shooting threes, chucking them up. All right, we go from small guy to another big guy. Memphis Grizzlies go Zach Edey, 7'4", about 300 out of Purdue.
Jesus. Yeah, again, this is like another Shaq. You had Shaq 2.0, Shaq 3.0. I mean, 7'4", 300 pounds, man. That's a big boy. Obviously, he went behind the other big boy and Collins. What's that his name? Colligan, whatever his name is. Anyway, he's the second biggest dude, or first biggest dude. He was number 16 ranked overall. Obviously, one of the biggest and most productive players I think this sport has seen. At his height, he's got a 7'11" wingspan. 7'11". He's got a 9'7" standing reach. He's only 3 inches from basically touching the rim, flat-footed. So he's a freakishly big guy. Obviously, his physical conditioning and his confidence are really, really good, which is what you want from a guy at that size. And he has a mean streak, Logan, which is what Shaq Diesel had, was a mean streak a little bit in him. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Memphis is him having that mean streak and putting it down low on him. I think Memphis had wanted Klingman, but I think, with what they have, I think they got the second best. They obviously tried to trade up to get him, and it didn't work out. So then they just went ahead and took on Zach Edey. And I don't think there's an issue with Zach Edey. I think he's going to pan out well for those guys, man.
Yeah, obviously we know this guy's special. Back-to-back player of the year. Did great in the Big Ten with Purdue, and I think that his game's going to translate well to Memphis. Who, look, Memphis is still a good team. It's just they got beat up by injuries this past year. My God, everybody was hurt. And I think the fact too that whenever they had a healthy roster, they had Steven Adams, who was that big guy who they needed to kind of help with defending and whatnot. And
right.
Essentially, you get a better version because this guy can score.
Yeah,
and he can also defend it well.
With this team, with this guy fitting in with Memphis, Memphis is a high-flying offensive style of team.
Yeah, is he going to be able to keep up with it?
They say he has good conditioning and things like that, which he's going to need. I just wonder how that will affect the transition offense off of rebounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but we'll round up top 10 here. Final pick here, as you see, number 10 on your screen. We got Cody Williams. Cody is not going to be the newest member of the Utah Jazz. Coming in 6'7", 178 by way of Colorado. What do you like about this guy, Jay? What are your thoughts on him going to Utah?
Man, so this is another 6'7" guy at 178. I don't know what they're feeding these kids, but they need to put them on some like 8,000 calorie diets, man. Like they need to massively put on weight on these kids. Obviously, he's a rangy perimeter player. He does have good size. He just doesn't have good weight. He's got length. He has flash of transitional scoring. So I think he's good on the transitional side of the basketball when going from defense to offense, as well as his weaknesses, though, is that strength, perimeter shooting. It's going to take, a season or two to really develop this kid. And I think this is a sign that Utah is shifting over to a rebuilding roster at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, when I look at this guy, he did some good work getting into college or making his way up, going to college, played there for just a season. Won Pac-12 freshman team last year. Played in 24 games, 18 of those being starts. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist in about 28 or so minutes. Like you said, he's athletic. He's got some length to him. He's a big guy in terms of height, not so much weight. But you're hoping that that he can have that explosiveness. I think this guy's going to thrive. Fast break offenses, right? Whenever they're out and running, this is where this guy is really going to shine. But I think overall, Utah, yeah. And that's the thing, Jay. That's really doing top 10. And like you said, you say it only gets worse from here. It's a lot of other guys. A lot of people did get drafted, and they are going to teams. Yes, they are. We'll see how they do. But yeah, look. There was no hype going into this draft. We're after round 1 now. There's really not much hype after the draft. I just want to see these guys on the floor. I want to see who's gonna stand out, and we'll watch this video back into the season and say, "Oh wow, we got that right," or "My God, we were stupid to say." Oh man, this guy couldn't do nothing because he's so scrawny, and we'll see how it goes though, man. We'll see what happens. But all right, Jay, appreciate you, man, coming on the show talking about this NBA draft round 1. It's been fun as always, guys. Once again, appreciate y'all for tuning in, Facebook and YouTube. And until next time, we'll talk to you again on another live episode. We'll see you later.